Chapter 3
The Adventure of the Lost Sir Ardent. The city by the way was a place of much delight and comeliness. Its gate of silver stood wide against their marble pillars, and the walls and towers were decked with flowers and clothed with vines. Nor was there any sign of arms to check the peaceful traveller, for there were no guards at the gate, no sentinels upon the walls. Moreover, on the pillar of the gate stood a proclamation in letters of gold: "For the pilgrim of the splendid way, there is rest and peace in this city, the city of good intent." Sir Constant came here on a day at noon, and the place seemed very gracious in the midst of the dusty way. Yet before he would enter, he gave thought to the matter, for he could not remember that such a city had been named as one of his resting places. But there was in this region a city called Dangerous, and he feared that this might be the same. So he sat down on a grassy bank without the gate, and took his refreshment there while he watched all that went on. There was little stir about the gate, for it seemed that the city was a place of rest rather than a place of traffic. Ever and anon one would come up and read the proclamation and go in, but he could not see that any came out. Within were gardens and fountains and pleasant roads shaded from the sun, but there was no thunder of hoofs, no sound of toil, no clang of martial arms. He saw men pass along the shaded roads, or linger by the fountains among the flowers, but they moved quietly, with peace upon their brows. But ere he had waited long, he saw a strange thing. There was a lodge by the gate, and besides the lodge a great bell. In a little while an old, stern man came out of the lodge, and took the rope of the bell, and rang, so that suddenly a great clamour burst upon the air, and rolled far along the sunny ramparts of the city. Clear and mighty, urgent and commanding was that brazen voice, so that the silver gates rang with the sound. The trees quivered, the walls and the towers gave sonorous answer. In the city men paused, and looked up, and listened, some striking their hands upon their brows in sudden bewildered awakening, while others quickened their steps as though to escape the sound. But soon the bell ceased its clamour, the echoes slowly died away, and there was a great peace upon that strange and silent city. The old man, having rung his bell, would have entered into his lodge again, but Sir Constant went up to him eagerly, for he had seen that the ringer wore the emblem of the great king. "I am of the same service," he said, "and I would not enter that city lest it should be the city Dangerous. Tell me, I pray thee, the story of the city and the bell." Kindly the old man looked upon him, marking his gallant shield and his attire stained with the dust of the way. "It is well that ye enter not to this city," he said. "Those who enter it fall under its spell, which is a deadly spell. Full many a gallant knight hath ventured there, thinking no evil, but he comes out no more." "Yet it is a fair city," said Sir Constant. "In all thy journey thou shalt not find a fairer," said the old man. "Some say that it is as beautiful as the city we seek, far over the eastern hills, but its danger lies in its beauty, and its fair welcome to the traveller. For who shall look for peril when he sees only peace and rest and welcome, with no sign of arms or toil or chains? Yet the spell is a power that hath held captive the strongest heart, and the city is one of the most false and deadly of all the perils that beset the knights of the king's service. For the victims of the spell dream of great and noble deeds, and know not that they are dreaming only. And while they dream, the swift hours fly, and the crowding years, until their time is gone. And through the spell of the city, they never find the city beyond the hills." "And the bell," said Sir Constant, "is this by command of the king?" "It is, Sir Knight. By his command am I set here, and the bell, and ever and anon I ring the bell to rouse the dreamers. Nay, I go sometimes into the city and seek those who are lost, and entreat them to come forth. But they love me not, for they love their dreams, and it is with anger and scorn that they drive me forth. So here I stay with my bell and seek to wake them from their sleep. Some hear me, and wake, and take up their arms, and I send them on their way with great joy. But these are few indeed, so deadly is this enchantment." "Is there any service that I may do here?" asked Sir Constant. "If there were one in the city who loved thee well, thou mightest serve him," said the old man. "The voice of love is oft more heeded than my bell, Tell me, whence art thou, and who were thy friends? Then Constant told him of Sir Fortus, and though the old man knew him, a great and noble knight, he said, whose name is renowned throughout the way. Then shouldst thou know Ardent, who was also of the household of Sir Fortus. He was my friend and comrade, cried Sir Constant. Has he passed this way? Alas, said the old man, many days past he came to the city and read the proclamation on the gate, and dared to enter. Vainly I warned him, for he laughed my fears to scorn, but the days have passed, and the spell prevails, and Sir Ardent, fearless and gallant, is lost to the king's service. Nay, I went into the city and sought him, and found him, but all my pleading was in vain, for such was the spell of his dreams that he could not understand my words. Then was Sir Constant grieved to the heart, and hung his head for shame and sorrow. His faith in Ardent had been great, for the strong hope that was his in the eager heart and the gracious spirit, and it was to him a grievous thing that so fair a knight should have fallen thus. Tell me how I may serve Sir Ardent, he cried. Shall I go and seek him? I would not pass on and leave him here in peril. That is well spoken, said the old man. It is permitted to thee to enter the city, for there is a way to steel thy heart against its snare. And this can be if thou keep steadily before thee the vision of the face. And I will go with thee, and lead thee to the house of Ardent. But I bid thee be full of prudence and care, and of a humble heart, for the enchantment of this place is very deadly. Then our good knight fortified himself with his love for Sir Ardent, and his memory of the good Sir Fortus, whom he longed to please in this matter. But more than all he strengthened his heart with the memory of the chapel of voices, and the face of love that was the guide and the glory of the splendid way. Then he drew his sword and took a shield upon his arm, and said, I am ready. So the stern old man, walking closely at his side, led him in by the open gate.